Hello everybody and welcome to Growing That's Fun. Today my topic is growing with hydroponics, and this is my first year, and some of the things I found out about growing with hydroponics that I have not seen discussed on the internet, and I thought I would just go ahead and try to bring some of this up and get response from other people that are growing with hydroponics. This is my greenhouse. Basically, it's a 20 by 20 carports, two carports wrapped in plastic. As we come inside, we've got back here a swamp cooler. I've got a small portable swamp cooler to keep humidity up. But this is one of the issues I never expected when I started growing with hydroponics. Growing that's fun is fun, but I never expected this. I've grown in the ground quite a bit, but never expected it to take off like this. This is my reservoir tank, and in my reservoir tank, as you can see, I've got a swamp cooler float and a little line hooked up to it. Well, that goes outside to a 250-gallon tank that I have topped off with my formula in order to maintain these plants and to feed them. Right now, my plants are consuming somewhere in the neighborhood of 40 to 50 gallons a day of fertilizer and water, and they're just, I try to come in here and trim them back and everything, but they're growing faster than I can keep up with, which is one of the things I was going to discuss when you're doing something like this. Next year, I will be spacing out my plants a lot further apart. I don't know if you can see this, but I've got them up fairly high off the ground, which I thought would be easier to maintain. But the height that they're growing, they're running out of space, so they're just growing outward and everything. So if you're interested in growing with hydroponics, expect it to take off and possibly get out of control. We're getting tons and tons of tomatoes off of this. We've got zucchini that's growing like crazy. I've got artichokes back here. We've already harvested quite a few artichokes, and this is mid-July. Tomato plants. Now, what I'm using for my buckets are these orange Home Depot buckets, 5-gallon buckets, that I drill my holes in and fill up with perlite. Now, I would recommend, if you're going to grow tomatoes, to use the Lowe's blue buckets. It makes it much easier to find the tomatoes when you're not looking at an orange bucket buried in all of your tomatoes. Here's another artichoke back here. We've got cantaloupe, we've got pumpkins, we've got watermelon, which may be why I'm consuming so much water, plus the zucchinis and the cucumbers. But from what I've seen, tomatoes take a lot of water, and unless you're prepared to have the money to buy your fertilizer, just giving you a little warning. Now, what I'm using is Jax. Now, Jax is a hydroponic fertilizer. You can get it on Amazon. This is a 4-gallon bucket. I'm now buying it in 25-pound bags because we're going through it so quickly. Along with the Jax, I mix up calcium nitrate and Epsom salt. This makes up my fertilizer mixture. And as we come out here, the way I've done this is I mix up 50 gallons at a time in this bucket. Then I've got a pump that pumps it into my 275-gallon reservoir. That way the formula is mixed up correctly, pH balanced and everything. Then I pump it into the bigger tank. Now I just got this tank about 2 weeks ago. I still have to wrap it with insulation and keep the sun from getting to it. But if you're going to grow, I've got 27 buckets in my greenhouse. I would highly recommend looking into something like this so that you don't have to go out and make your fertilizer every day like I've had to. This is working out great. Right now I've got probably a little over 100 gallons of fertilizer made up, maybe 125. I'll probably make up another 100 gallons today, get that tank almost topped off, and that'll last me in case I want to go somewhere for the weekend. The little float that's in my tank maintains the fluid level in there, and then when the pumps turn off, the float of course goes underwater and it stops filling this tank. This tank here holds 30 gallons. I try to keep about 20 gallons of water in here at any given time to water my plants. Everything is run off of this little timer I've got over here. And as you can see, I've got it coming on an hour and then off for a half, on for an hour, off for a half. I've tried running it all day long. Doesn't seem to make much difference. They still consume quite a bit of fertilizer. And anyways, I thought I would just share this with you in case somebody out there is thinking on doing something like this. Some of the stuff to be aware of. Like I said, if I had my way, these cabinets would be all the way down. I would have them on bricks on the ground. Have my main reservoir tank buried so the plants can grow up. I would space them out about twice what I've got right now, maybe even 3 times. And probably not put the watermelon, the pumpkins, and the cantaloupe in here just because they just grow everywhere. I've got watermelon and pumpkins growing up in my tomato plants. Yeah, it's a mess. Anyways, if you have any comments on my greenhouse, leave a comment. Have a great day. Bye.